Good evening, candidates, faculty, staff, friends, families, loved ones, and special guests. Welcome to the College of Education's 2021 Credential Ceremony. I am Dr. Karen Escalante, and I will be your host this evening. I would like to introduce our first speaker, the Provost of California State University, San Bernardino, Dr. Sherry McMahon.
Thank you, Dr. Escalante, and welcome everyone. It's just wonderful to join you to recognize and celebrate the many outstanding achievements of our College of Education students. Every graduate here has worked extremely hard and made enormous sacrifices with the goal of achieving a brighter tomorrow for themselves and for families. And students, I applaud all of you for your passion and your commitment and your perseverance. It has been 1 year, hasn't it? I know that each and every one of you has the capacity to transform our world in rich and profound ways. And I urge you to harness the power of your education to do just that. And I'd like to also acknowledge the parents and family members and significant others who are here this evening. The critical role you play in your loved one's success may seem invisible at times, but I assure you it does not go unnoticed. And a show of appreciation is also in order for Dean Chinaka Domwachuku and our dedicated faculty and staff. We would not be celebrating this milestone today without their critical support in preparing our graduates for meaningful and successful careers in education. And on behalf of President Morales, myself, and the CSUSB community, congratulations again, graduates, on your upcoming graduation. It has been a privilege and pleasure to partner with each and every one of you during your academic journey. And remember that as Coyotes, we will define the future. Thank you, Dr. Escalante.
Thank you, Provost McMahon. We are grateful to have you join in celebrating our candidates this evening. I would now like to introduce the Dean of our college, Dr. Chinaka Domwachuku.
Good afternoon and welcome to this special celebration of our credential candidates from across various programs in the College of Education. My name is Chinaka Domwachuku, and I'm the Dean of the College of Education. Our credential ceremonies usually is a time for us to come together with candidates who have completed their programs, and together with them, their families and the significant people in their lives will rejoice your accomplishments, and we celebrate them with food and fanfare. This year is different because of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But regardless, we're here to celebrate. In today's celebration, we are recognizing candidates from across the various programs in our college. You'll be interested to know that each one of the programs have been strongly represented today. Our Administrative Services Credential Program is graduating 45 candidates. The Education Specialist Teaching Credential Program, 58 candidates. School Counseling PPS Credential Program, 46 candidates. School Psychology PPS Credential Program, 22 candidates. Single Subject Teaching Credential Programs, 110 candidates. And multiple subject, 64 candidates. Overall, we are graduating 345 candidates across the college. It is remarkable that our college is able to graduate this many credential candidates despite the devastating impact of the pandemic. You remember, all our classes were conducted online for the past 1 year. Field work and clinical practice sites across the K-12 settings were shut down and everything went virtual. Candidates, their master teachers, their university mentors, their K-12 students, all had to navigate the clinical experience in an online platform, often unsure as to whether they are making progress or not. For those in the initial credential programs, you were challenged because the CBEST, CSET, RECA exam centers were closed. And many of you could not even sit these exams even after you've prepared for them. None of us and none of you actually expected the added stress and challenges that came as you were attempting to finish your program and prepare yourself for your career. Many of you were afraid that you may not be able to complete your programs and begin your education career. But you're here, you're done, and you're ready to launch your educational careers. To say I'm proud of you is an understatement. All of you who are completing your programs today represent the best of CSUSB and the best hope for our nation. You did not allow the pandemic to stop you. Some of you had deaths in the family, illnesses, job losses, and all kinds of challenges, yet you persevered. Your tenacity and hard work brought you to this place of accomplishment. You finished despite all the odds that stacked up against you. To our world-class faculty and staff, let me say a hearty thank you to all of you for rising to the challenge of this season. Faculty members quickly embraced online teaching and learning, even when they had no prior experience doing online teaching. You stayed with your students, and with your help, they have been able to rise above the challenges of the past 1 year and complete their programs. That CSUSB College of Education is putting out 345 credential educators into the education field this year, actually this spring, is an accomplishment in the face of the pandemic. We have chipped away from that monstrous challenge of teacher and educator shortage in the state of California. If we could do this during the pandemic, how much more we can do when things settle down. I believe that the best is still ahead of our college. The best is still ahead for our faculty and staff, but especially for you, our credential candidates. As you step into the educational fields and take your place as teachers, counselors, psychologists, and school site administrators, I know the world is at your fingertip. I pray and hope you will rise to the challenge of the hour and make us proud. Once again, congratulations to all of you for reaching this special point of accomplishment. Go Coyotes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Damochakwu. It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Ms. Asha Compton-Sendry. Ms. Compton-Sendry is an alumnus, having received her Education Specialist Credential and Master's from CSUSB's College of Education. She currently serves as a special education teacher in the Rialto School District. Please welcome Ms. Compton-Sendry.
I created a foreword to this speech. Here goes. I have a secret. When I was little, I would line up my stuffed animals and Barbie dolls and Cabbage Patch Kids and speak to them because I so desperately wanted siblings. Explaining the do's and don'ts, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and attempting to speak Spanish like my mother, a single-parent bilingual school teacher who daily commuted to South Central LA for over a decade, my whole childhood. She was a shero to many students, and I admired her drive. I learned to take on that spirit and keep myself busy as an only child, and go within. I learned to make myself happy and inwardly took solace in my imagination and reflection time. So today, you have made this introverted girl's wish come true. For some reason, I can sound like I am giving a TED Talk to my students, and when I get in front of adults, all the words seem to disappear. Thank you for being such a beautiful audience. I celebrate and thank you for inspiring me today to face my fear. So, I'm officially starting now. Hi, beautiful Coyote family. I hope you like wearing hats. I do. I'm sure you have learned you will wear multiple hats sometimes at any given moment. Parent hat, daughter hat, teacher hat, parent support hat, learner hat, expert hat. I'm a proud mother of 5 children, 1 with special needs, so wear the mom hat, special ed teacher hat, trauma survivor hat, health and wellness advocate hat, and my favorite, the resilience hat. So coyotes, get ready for hat head. My name is Asha, just 2 little syllables, whose root derives from the Indian and Swahili language. It means desire, hope, and life. The name came from my Caribbean and politically fashioned paternal side, a side I never knew, but perhaps genetically influenced in part my desire to educate. My relative Sir John Compton, former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, had a great love for education along with the family, helping to usher in academia to improve the nation as a whole and help bring in education to improve the islanders' lives. On my mother's side, educators and women of color who have seen advancement come through the power of the mind to learn and change, I was taught grammar and such from infancy. So as my name would have it, my desire is that we remain hopeful, believing and living in alignment with making choices to become our best selves. This means being authentic, in purpose, happy, helping self and others to become our best selves, connected in community, since relationships is at the core of having a happy and fulfilling life, healthy relationship of self, others, and divine, whatever you may call your divine, or higher power, God, Creator, Allah, etc. Let's have a moment of reflection of all of our personal and professional growth that got us here today. So how is everyone? I'm checking in because this year has been quite interesting. I personally have lost dear ones over this year, one being my middle school best friend's mother. I reconnected with her this year after 20 years of separation. Through love, resilience, hope, and building a trusting friendship, we were able to have our children meet and begin their relationships with each other. Connection. What a ride on our journeys. I am so excited to celebrate you, your focus, your resilience, your love, your empathy, your teamwork, your courage, and insert any characteristic quality you may need to tell your story at this present moment. Who have you been connecting with to get so far on your journey? I encourage you to keep a journal of the people who impact you the most, especially for these times when you need to recall them by name during a keynote speech or other important event to celebrate and grow. I must name my dear self-sacrificing cousin, Christopher Haynes, who has supported me and my children as we have been undergoing our own personal healing journey to a happier life. Who would you like to thank? Hold them here and keep their spirit with you. Here we go. Or should I say, grow together. Remember, we're having a conversation. My question to you is, what inspired you to attend university and successfully pass all of your classes this unique school year? I encourage you to keep a journal about it so later on you can look back at it periodically to remember that resilience you possess, reflecting on all of the professors, instructors, lecturers, mentors, teachers, paraprofessionals, etc., that were angel guides along the way. I am ever grateful for the instructors who taught me to practice what I wanted to say in front of a mirror In fact, one admitted to practicing in the car, which is what I soon adopted in my own life. These instructors, professors, I like to call them CSUSB angels, empathized with me and took the time to build trusting and supportive relationships with students. Studies show that relationship building is key to learning, happiness, and success, both short and long term. We all know CSUSB's motto is "Come here, go anywhere." The fact that you are graduating amidst the change a pandemic has brought upon us speaks volumes of your character to come together in community to transmute what some may perceive as negative into a positive blessing. Thank you for being you. Someone needs you because of that spirit and drive that you possess. This makes you heroes and sheroes. You've gotten this far, so my questions for you now are, where are you going? Who will you impact? How will you go places in a student's heart that need to be reached before he or she is ready to learn from you? I enjoy observing how cultures over time are connected and what has worked to bring about growth, happiness, and wellness. One source, Buddha, said, words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. Another source, Proverbs 25:11. Like apples of gold and silver carvings is a word spoken at the right time. Our words to ourselves, both spoken and unspoken, and words to others, spoken or in thought, can motivate or tear down. There is someone who emulates you and wants to be where you are in this present moment. That means, Coyotes, that we have the superpower, privilege, and honor to help heal a broken spirit along with a team of supportive professionals and evidence-based interventions, such as healing and trauma-informed teaching, restorative practice, social emotional lessons, and positive behavior intervention and supports, PBIS. Instead of handling challenging behaviors on the back end with a reactive model, we can be proactive and model, teach, and practice mindfulness and social emotional skills so that students who know nothing of this healing from trauma at home can master tools to help them with happiness and success throughout life. That is a gift not found in a book, but by heart to heart. Coyotes, these are places of the heart where we examine our own biases, our own egos, our own teaching styles, our own fears to bring about educational justice and equity for each student. Healing the self from trauma is the ticket to helping to make a positive impact on another's journey. As you may know, the ACE test is Adverse Childhood Effects. Here's a little bit about the ACE from the website. 3 types of ACEs. What shapes health? And the article was take the ACE quiz and learn what it does and doesn't mean. And we have Laura Storochesky to thank. An ACE score is a tally of different types of abuse, neglect, and other hallmarks of a rough childhood. According to the Adverse Childhood Experiences study, the rougher your childhood, the higher your score is likely to be, and the higher your risk for later health problems. First, remember that the ACE score isn't a crystal ball, it's just meant as guidance. It tells you about one type of risk factor among many. It doesn't directly take into account your diet, your genes, or whether you smoke or drink excessively, to name just a few of the other major influences on health. Adverse childhood experiences have been linked to a variety of adult conditions, ranging from increased headaches to depression to heart disease. Remember this too. ACE scores don't tally the positive experiences in early life that can help build resilience and protect a child from the effects of trauma. Having a grandparent who loves you, a teacher who understands and believes in you, or a trusted friend you can confide in may mitigate the long-term effects of early trauma, psychologists say. There are people with high ACE scores who do remarkably well, says Jack Shonkoff, a pediatrician and director of the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University. Resilience, he says, builds throughout life, and close relationships are key. Recent research also suggests that for adults, trauma-informed therapy, which can center on art, yoga, or mindfulness training, can help. My journey has been filled with bumps and hills and valleys, which have shaped me into the resilient, confident, and hopeful woman I am today. I have experienced intense grief and loss and other personal wounds that many of us carry. I thank God daily for guiding my steps and allowing angels, like the angels at CSUSB, through the mentors, colleagues, family, students, and the learning community that has guided me through some dark times. I now shine my light, and I am a mentor that I needed growing up. I look for outliers who smile to cover pain or show other subtle signs that they could use some support. I found myself working full-time, going to school full-time, and taking on the responsibilities of motherhood. Motherhood of 5 children, one with special needs, requiring total care. This meant doctor appointments, scheduling appointments, equipment fittings, therapy, insurance battles, etc. Did I mention that my 4 other children are in the evidence-based dual language immersion program? This meant that I would need to support them with completing homework and projects in a second language that I was not fluent in. I had many barriers on my educational and career journey, but through it all, CSUSB poured in the love, guidance, and character building through mentorship that I needed to fill some of my missing pieces. In community, we built a strong, trusting relationship, and I was able to earn my bachelor's degree, master's of science degree in special education, and also my teaching credential. I had stopped after my BA, feeling inadequate to take my career to the next step and earn my credential. At the time, I was a substitute teacher, and there was a colleague of mine named Michael Scott, and we were at a teacher training. He told me that I was doing the job of a permanent teacher. So I was, wearing the hat of a teacher for half the pay and no health benefits. Remember, I had 5 children. He offered support and volunteered he and his wife to watch my children so I could study. I never took him up on the offer, but just having someone believe in me and offer support was the push that I needed to begin my next steps in completing my teacher coursework. Due to my past, I perceived the attainable to be unattainable, and it took someone else to affirm and believe in me until I believed it myself. Our students are like us. Some are outgoing, some are shy, some started out with support, then trauma happened and the support left. But at our core, we all want the same things. To know we are accepted, good enough to belong here, and are safe. Healing and growth happens in community. CSUSB provided flexible class schedules, which were at night for me after work and mom duties. Classes I needed that quarter to remain on track with obtaining financial aid throughout my college career. Support with passing the CSAT and RECA, and job placement support through the internship program. I needed all of this support as a full-time working mother and student. CSUSB's flexibility and ability to accommodate student needs to learn through a pandemic is a phenomenal feat, and your resilience to learn in a non-traditional manner shows that you can come here and go anywhere. What a lot of work. Please stop and recognize yourself for the hero or shero you are. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and a student of mine who was a foster youth and the sweetest technology genius asked to share a link with me and the class. He made me a card thanking me for teaching him everything I could, and that I am the best English, social studies, and study skills teacher, with a link to a song. He also shared a link with an anecdote of how teachers and students need each other. My heart melted. And thanks for virtual learning, I could turn off my camera as I was getting, as the church lady on SNL put it, getting verklempt. I felt so appreciated at that moment for making a difference in a child's life. I gave him hope, and he gave it back to me. Instructors such as Dr. Kathy Poole, who helped me with practicum, Dr. Marissa Congdon, who taught me about data, Leslie Bryan, who taught me about dance in the classroom, Dr. Sang, who taught me about behavior, Ann Vesey, who just kept it real, Catherine Irvin, teaching me about theater in the classroom, Erin Bostic Mason taught me about second language learners, how to connect and teach them with evidence-based strategies. All of these mentors helped me along my way. I'm so thankful for them. Maybe you were touched by them also. They motivated me when my energy was depleted from wearing so many hats without a break by focusing on practical evidence-based academic and behavioral strategies. Behind the scenes, program directors and staff such as Sheila Braggs kept me informed of programs and opportunities. Lola Cromwell, Sheila Braggs supported me with applying for the Teach Grant, which paid a large portion of my tuition for my master's degree and teaching credential while I was working as an intern teacher. CSUSB mentor Robert McKee supervised and supported me through my 2-year teacher internship, and my school mentor Daniel Kutch and Wanda Paluba all supported me within the district with answering after-hour questions that are not in the book. My supportive district offered an accelerated program to clear my credential in 1 year at no cost. I was blessed with these career opportunities because CSUSB has done the groundwork to branch out and network with the local learning and business communities. Their roots are deep and are filled with love and support. My observation of what a supportive team can accomplish helped shape me into a special day class teacher, developing a great rapport with my instructional assistant, who has served for over 20 years in the same setting. She's an expert in her own right. She's a proud mother of 4 accomplished women. My friend and her daughter, Rochelle Wright, is a special education teacher, director, and leader who is a national teacher representative for teacher representation and advocacy. She leads from the heart and wears so many hats. One of her last opportunities included working with Erin Gruwell. And Erin Gruwell is an American teacher known for her unique teaching method, which led to the publication of the Freedom Writer's Diary, how a teacher and 150 teens used writing to change themselves and the world around them. And it was also turned into a 2007 movie. What safer learning environment can we create other than one that is accepting of our students, especially the ones that direct anger or irritation towards us because they are hurting? Instead of writing a referral, we ground ourselves through mindfulness practice and are the thermostat that our students need, regulating ourselves to create a safer learning environment, one where students feel they can make mistakes, and those mistakes are part of the learning and growing as a person. I was inspired by the great painter Bob Ross, who happily exclaimed, "As long as you're learning, you're not failing." I have learned about the power of the breath, connecting with feelings, affirming, and healing generational patterns through a mindful parent training with San Bernardino City Unified School District and other teacher and personal trainings. Miss Rochelle Wright, my mentor, is attending, participating, and growing with me and in community. We have built a trusting friendship all because of the rapport I had with my instructional assistant, her mother, who to this day goes above and beyond to support the students and the learning environment. Students sometimes slip and want to call her grandma. She has inspired the students by showing them how to make money during a pandemic. She sews and ships masks nationwide. These mentors have walked with me through the nights when the answers were not in the book and took so much time with me that I had to excuse myself. Women like my first special education teacher partner, Miss Teresa Cartwright, who raised 4 children and is now in a program to earn her doctorate in social impact. She showed professional compassion to me my first 2 years when I was learning the ropes as an intern teacher and not fully trained, yet the teacher of record. Their support has helped build a trusting work relationship and friendship, and studies show that this leads to a happier, more exciting and fulfilling life. Where would we be without such a supportive community? I thank the divine for guiding my steps and bringing into my life every person and situation needed for my personal and professional growth. In the words of American civil rights activist Cesar Chavez, "Si se puede," it can be done. He realized the importance of community, confidence in your truth, advocacy, and equity. Dr. Maya Angelou said, "Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it." Courage is the most important of all virtues because without courage, you cannot practice any of the other virtues consistently. She also said, "I'd love to see a young girl go out and grab the world by the lapels." Those words live in me. How about you? Having the support of the CSUSB family allowed me to earn my BA degree, master's degree, and teaching credential, and I am always learning. As a side note, I felt like an imposter at my graduation because I did not come from a family that celebrated my accomplishments, so speaking here is a dream come true for me. The only reason I attended my graduation was because one of my administrators at my workplace pulled me aside and said, "Miss Sindri, your children need to see you walk across the stage." Dr. Achilles Muteti, a colleague and educator, spoke positive words into me like apples of gold. We never know who will come into our lives as a blessing, so I encourage you to stay open, courageous, and resilient. It was so sweet that the CSUSB photographer, Robert Whitehead, came up to me right before the confetti dropped at the end of the graduation ceremony and asked to take my picture for the confetti drop. There was no one in my party who could have taken such a picture, so it was divine that he stepped in to do that. I felt that he was a CSUSB angel providing support at the right time. Divine. So, I ask you again, where are you going? Blessings and love on your journeys. And just know you have a network to lift you up as you lift up. Be sure to wear the right hat or hats for the job. Remember, coyotes, come here, go anywhere.
Thank you very much, Ms. Compton Sentry. We will now be moving through each credential program. I will first be introducing each coordinator. The coordinator will introduce the outstanding student within that program, and then the coordinator will be introducing the slideshow for that credential program. So I would now like to introduce Dr. Shannon Sparks, coordinator of the Education Specialist Credential Program.
Good evening. I would like to celebrate and introduce Mr. Ian Roberts for Outstanding Special Education Student for 2021. Mr. Roberts brings a professional presence, wide assortment of educational strategies, and experience in his position to the students he teaches. He's been a student at CSUSB since 2005, substituting while obtaining his mild moderate credential in 2015, his master's in 2017, and today celebrating his moderate severe credential. Mr. Roberts works tirelessly on his program focus to provide students the opportunities for them to become contributing members of their school and their community. His classroom is a safe, busy, and enjoyable space. In order to support his students' needs and to be able to communicate, Mr. Roberts also began instructing students and parents in American Sign Language. This has afforded his parents one more tool so that they can communicate with their student or their child who is nonverbal. Also, Mr. Roberts demonstrates the highest level of professional relations among his staff and other support who work with the students. He includes everyone in his activities. He asks for input, he asks for ideas. He wants to make his lessons relevant, useful, and meaningful. And he wants to engage his students. He's considered a leader at his site. He's been nominated Teacher of the Year and a spokesperson for the Special Education Department. He's also developed Cooperative Learning Day, where 3 special educators and 45 students are all on a Zoom for a community lesson. The inspiration came for this during the pandemic when students were missing out on those friendships and being able to connect with their peers at school. The once a week get together provides school time with staff, students, and parents so they all can enjoy it. Mr. Roberts is an example of a dedicated teacher. He's well trained and he's very, very passionate about what he does. It's a pleasure to acknowledge him here this evening, and we are very proud of him. Next, I would like to introduce our special education credential program completers for spring 2021. Thank you.
As the multiple subject program coordinator, it is my honor to celebrate the multiple subject outstanding student for this academic year, Mrs. Erin Green. Erin has maintained a 4.0 grade point average this academic year and is described by her professors as someone who is a team player, consistently supports her classmates, and always goes above and beyond. Erin shared with me that she has a passion for learning and finds joy in supporting students. And this is what led her to the teaching profession. Erin acknowledged that finally getting into student teaching and the ability to work with students has been the best part of the Credential program. Erin was placed in kindergarten, and she said the kinders have kept her laughing and created some memorable moments for her. Erin wishes to thank many of her classmates who have helped her navigate this year, in addition to several of her professors, Dr. Torres, Dr. Steele, Dr. Norton, to name a few. Erin gives a huge thanks of appreciation to her husband, Mac, her mother-in-law, Terry, and her two children, Chloe and Mac. They have been her biggest inspiration. Congratulations, Erin, on being named Outstanding Multiple Subject Student for this academic year. Please now enjoy the slideshow of our multiple subject credential completers. I would now like to acknowledge Dr. Becky Sambera, coordinator of the Single Subject Credential Program. Dr. Sambera is not feeling well this evening and not able to join us. To introduce the outstanding student for single subject, I would like to welcome Jenny Braithwaite, pardon me, Jenny. So Jenny.
It is truly an honor for me to describe our outstanding single subject student, Natasha Romo, for she represents all of us so well. She knew at a very young age that she wanted to become a teacher, for she comes from a family of educators. She says she was probably most influenced by her mother, a high school teacher. All of you have had to spend an incredible amount of time preparing those daily lessons for distance learning as we jump through a myriad of academic tears and hoops. Her work ethic is incredible. Each day begins with Art with Romo, when her emoji appears with a favorite art piece and a lesson behind it. She takes students to a bright spot of the day in their community, then takes them to see a university with all the benefits it will offer them in the future. Lately, it's been testing tip of the day, getting ready for those favorite online state tests. As if teaching thousands of years of ancient history to sixth graders wasn't challenging enough, she teaches a host of other subjects as well. Main ideas on Google Slides appear in both Spanish and English. She and her resident teacher insist that grammatical mistakes be corrected as students submit their writing in class using Nearpod. They interpret maps and use math to calculate distances. And her tour of a Chinese farm showed a water wheel displaying concepts of physics to provide water and energy efficiently. On my last visit, I watched Natasha use Tinkercad to show some engineering. And within half an hour, her students had each built a trading post on the Silk Road in ancient China. Yes, she uses Kami, Nearpod, Tinkercad, Jamboard, and Google Forms so that her students can develop digital literacy. But most importantly, she uses her heart and compassion each and every day. Natasha, you represent us all so well and make us so very proud. Please enjoy our slideshow displaying all of you. You are all outstanding single subject credential program completers.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Sharon Ward, coordinator of the School Psychology Credential Program.
Thank you. It is my honor to introduce our outstanding credential student for the School Psychology Program, Cassandra Taylor. Cassandra is described by faculty as possessing a passion for supporting the academic, behavioral, and social emotional health of students in the Inland Empire. She exceeded all CTC requirements for both practicum and internship experiences. And despite the COVID-19 school shutdown, Cassandra was able to provide both direct and indirect services with students at the high school, elementary, and even students in our non-public settings. She's trained in diagnosing and working with children on the spectrum. She was noted as providing mental health services to children with multiple disabilities and emotional disturbances, and provided behavioral interventions for families with homeschooled children. Now, in addition to her developing her professional school psychology skills, Cassandra is really shined as a student researcher. She worked directly with Dr. O'Hanley on research using video modeling to train caregivers to conduct preference assessments. She presented her research at state and national conferences and is the first author on 3 poster presentations. Additionally, her paper entitled Training Pre-Service School Psychologists to Conduct a Stimulus Preference Assessment was published last month in the journal Behavior Analysis in Practice. During her tenure at CSUSB, she was part of the driving force that formed the School Psychology Graduate Student Council and served on this council for 3 years. Under her leadership, the council created a student mentorship program that has done a lot of good in increasing the morale of students by hosting their virtual COVID social Zoom media events. She's a member of Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. She also is our student leader representative for 3 professional school psychology associations, including the National Association for School Psychologists. And on a side note, I want to point out that Cassandra did all of this while homeschooling her 2 daughters. Cassandra, on behalf of the faculty of school psychologists, we are so proud that you are representing your cohort, your amazing cohort, as the outstanding credential student. And now please enjoy the slideshow highlighting the school psychology credential completers for 2021.
Please welcome Dr. Susan Jindra, coordinator of the Administrative Services Credential Program.
Good evening. I'd like to introduce Manuel Reyes. Like to introduce Manuel Reyes, who is our outstanding student in the Educational Administration Master's and Administrative Services Credential Program. He collaborated well with his peers and he was a leader in the class. He went above and beyond in his contributions in his class discussions and in his graduate work, earning all A's in every one of our courses. Manuel focused on the students he served in his school as an educator. Truly, Manuel is an equity warrior in education. He's currently a program facilitator at Davidson Elementary School and San Bernardino City Unified School District. You can be sure that Manuel will be a school principal soon. And he also stated that in a few years, he'd also like to come to our doctorate program. So congratulations, Manuel. We're so proud of your accomplishment. And now enjoy the slideshow of our administrative services credential completers. And they are your future school and district leaders. Congratulations to all.
But I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Lorraine Hetke, coordinator of the Counseling Credential. Dr. Hetke, would you like to? There you go.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment to underscore how delighted we are in all of them, but also to highlight that Ms. Nora Nicole Ortega is our outstanding credential and master's degree in counseling student for the 20 and 21 academic year. Nora Nicole is an exceptional school counselor in training with a deep commitment to serve historically marginalized communities and their success in education. Over the 3 years that she has been in the program, she has made a strong impression on all of us on the counseling program faculty as a dedicated and focused emerging scholar. In our frequent interactions with her, we have been impressed by her commitment and her dedication to finding different ways to utilize her leadership skills and talents as a school counselor that will benefit the Inland Empire. She exemplifies what it means to be a dedicated and engaged graduate student. Nora Nicole has proven not only to be an excellent student in the classroom, but she's also been an active member of the graduate student school community. She has taken an active leadership role in our Counseling Graduate Student Association at USB, having served as the president of that organization for the last 2 years. In addition, she has been instrumental in and been noticed in other larger communities as well. Her education has been widely recognized at CSUSB in the broader CSU university system. During the 20 and 21 academic year, Nora Nicole received the CSU Trustees Award for Outstanding Achievement and recognized for her academic performance, community service, and personal accomplishments. As a first-generation Latina and daughter of immigrant parents, Nora Nicole recognizes the pedagogies of home and how influential her family and community have been in her educational journey. More recently, Nora Nicole was also awarded the coveted CSU Sally Casanova Pre-Doctoral Fellowship to pursue a doctoral degree in her future. As a recipient of this fellowship, Nora Nicole is closely working with her faculty mentor, Dr. Edwin Hernandez, as they are working on a project that will inform the field of school counseling. And together they're collaborating on a research project that focuses on Latinx school counselors' experiences in training programs at Hispanic serving institutions. For this reason, and for many, many more, we are so honored and so proud that Ms. Nora Nicole Ortega is the outstanding credential student from the counseling program for this academic year. And now, if you would, enjoy the slideshow of all the other students who we are so very, very proud of. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce our Associate Dean, Dr. Stacy Robertson. Dr. Robertson will be introducing the outstanding student for the Designated Subjects Career and Technical Credential Program. Dr. Robertson.
Good evening. The outstanding student, Ms. Hortensia Garcia, was nominated by the department chair of the Career and Technical Education Program, Joseph Scarcella, Dr. Joseph Scarcella. In his words, it is an honor to nominate Ms. Hortensia Garcia for the 2020-2021 Outstanding Student Award for Career and Technical Education in the College of Education at California State University. She will earn a Master's of Arts in Career and Technical Education in the spring of 2021. Ms. Garcia has a great passion to achieve academic excellence in her studies and acknowledges the prestigious and importance in her teaching contribution. She will make a difference in career and technical education and student achievement. Congratulations to Ms. Garcia and all of the designated subject completers.
Thank you, Dr. Robertson. As is a longstanding tradition at the annual College of Education Credential Celebration, the Order of the Whistle, written by T. Patrick Mullen, will now be read. Please, friends, know that this is my first time reading it, so here we go. For installation into the Order of the Whistle by T. Patrick Mullen. When we were young in olden days, we could surely tell a teacher was identified as the one who rang the bell. Now every kindergartner knows the person who's in charge. It isn't because they're older. It isn't because they're large. Bells are gone. There's something else, an extra that I mention. It's something that the teachers wear that brings them our attention. It goes with different clothing, right for women and for men. It's right for classroom teachers, especially when they begin. Way out on the playground, in the morning and after school, very often heard at recess, teachers use this tool. When heard, it makes you stop and look and listen. It's your clue, it's your time. It's your cue to get in line. Since you're planned to be a teacher, you'll need this whistle too. It tells adults and children that the teacher here is you. My friends, when you pick up your certificate and your medallion, you will also pick up your whistle. Candidates, faculty, staff, friends, family, loved ones, and special guests, thank you for joining in celebrating our credential completers. Our Coyote graduates are prepared to enter the educational system and create a lasting positive impact for students, families, communities, and generations. We wish them an abundance of success. Thank you all for attending this evening. Be well.